All right, friends, let's look at something here. SDA church leaders did approve guidelines for digital mission and expansion. You know, the spring meeting for 2025 ended just yesterday or last 2 days, and many things happened right there. I shared some of the events that happened at the meeting with you right here on the channel. That is our job. We share and comment on what is taking place in the church. Now, what are the guidelines that were approved by the church leaders at the spring meeting concerning digital expansion? Let's watch this, and after that, as usual, I'll come back and add my thoughts.
In today's digital age, expanding our mission through online platforms is both an opportunity and a necessity. These guidelines provide a clear framework for digital ministry that maintains the church biblical foundation and organizational structure. The key objectives of these guidelines are to guide local churches in expanding their digital ministry while preserving doctrinal integrity, to define protocols for integrating remote members into local church life, and to affirm the biblical model of physical gathering and clarify the role of digital-only communities. And the committee was very, very clear that we want to strengthen the local church, while at the same time taking advantage of the opportunity of more than or close to 70% of the world population are online. And they spend about 7 hours a day, and some of them asking spiritual questions. And so it was a privilege for me to work with a small but very effective committee from BRI, SSPM, Women's Ministries, Ministerial, and Communication. And Sam Nevers, Sam, if you can come, please. Sam was chosen by the committee to help us write the document, and he will present it before us. And I should probably call you Dr. Sam Neves, because he just got his PhD not too long ago. And so yes, thank you. So we were fortunate to have him and our committee because his doctorate is in digital communication. So Sam, lead us, please.
Thank you, Elder Canals. We will read the document in its entirety. We're starting on line 12 of page 1. Throughout its history, Seventh-day Adventists have used new technologies to share the good news of salvation. More recently, with unprecedented access to digital tools and devices, Adventist congregations worldwide have embraced the challenge to share the gospel digitally. Accordingly, this document will address 3 critical questions. Question 1, how can churches appropriately expand their digital ministry and mission? 2, how can churches appropriately integrate individuals from different geographical areas who can only connect digitally into local church membership? 3, should we organize new churches where members would gather exclusively online? Expanding digital ministry and mission. Seventh-day Adventist churches should embrace opportunities for digital ministry. However, our digital expansion must support and enhance our ecclesiastical structure rather than undermine it. Local fields, through their various departments, media and communications, Sabbath school and personal ministries, ministerial, etc., bear the responsibility of guiding churches in digital ministry expansion. They should provide encouragement, training, and resources to help each church progress through different phases of digital engagement. These phases are not a local church ranking system. Rather, they form a strategic framework designed to expand their reach and impact in a meaningful and sustainable way. Phase 1, digital platform. Local churches are encouraged to develop a digital channel by regularly posting on at least one platform, such as a website, social media account, or podcast. The communication department of the local church will ensure all content will encourage engagement and be well-designed, relevant, and biblically accurate, upholding the fundamental beliefs of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Phase 2, digital streaming. After establishing a digital channel, local churches are encouraged to stream their services online, whether Sabbath school, the main Sabbath worship service, prayer meetings, Bible studies, youth meetings, and other church activities. Phase 3, digital spiritual care. The third phase of digital expansion is to provide spiritual care to those connecting remotely, especially through digital visitation, with opportunities for prayer, Bible study, small group, participation, and training. Churches in Phase 3 should also provide regular opportunities for people to engage in church services and volunteer for missionary activities, both online and in person. Integration of individuals living remotely. The Bible emphasizes that our responsibility is to make disciples who are more than passive spectators and consumers of church services and digital content. All churches should actively encourage individuals to become members of a local church in their community, even if it requires a degree of sacrifice. Churches with active digital ministries will at times interact with individuals from outside their local area who are interested in joining their congregation. For a church to accept members from outside its local area, it must be recognized by the local conference mission as having reached Phase 3 of digital expansion, demonstrating strong digital spiritual care. Local churches must still adhere to the guidelines in the church manual in terms of the process and requirements for local church membership. Church members living in a different geographical area from the physical place where the church meets should still be trained and involved in church ministries and personal witnessing. For example, members who live remotely could lead prayer meetings, Bible studies, or Sabbath school classes. They could also be elected to church office with their essential duties such as bulletin preparation and spiritual care be fulfilled through digital platforms. Members who worship remotely are encouraged to return tithe and give offerings to the church that holds their membership through the most convenient means available to them. When this is impossible, they should remit their tithe and offerings to the local conference mission nearest to them. Members who worship remotely are also encouraged to interact with their community. They may be trained to start a branch Sabbath school or small group in their homes and to plant a new church where they live. The local conference mission should be notified and involved in any potential transition to a new congregation at the appropriate time, as the new congregation may potentially be attached to a new field. Churches have a physical presence. Scripture says, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. Hebrews 10:25, New King James Version. According to the Seventh-day Adventist fundamental belief number 12, the church is a community of believers who gather for worship, fellowship, and mission. While modern technology provides many opportunities for the church to connect and reach people in new ways, some of the most sacred practices of our faith require physical presence and cannot be accomplished in a virtual environment. Baptism and communion are the most prominent of these, as presented in the church manual. While churches have developed creative ways to conduct the ordinances of baptism and the Lord's Supper during crisis times, for these services only to be available online would rob them of the tangible imagery and interpersonal connection so central to their meaning. Thus, physical presence is always the ideal and the main goal. A church should not rely on online gatherings only. Pastors, evangelists, and other church leaders with experience in offering digital spiritual care have discovered a natural tendency for people to desire in-person fellowship and connection. As their relationship with the church matures, People long for a face-to-face experience with those they've come to trust and love. Therefore, planting exclusive online churches would fail to reflect biblical ecclesiology and fall short of what we know from experience and best practices in digital spiritual care. Commitment to digital ministry. Millions of people search for spiritual content on search engines and social media platforms daily. The General Conference should collaborate with divisions to ensure that Adventist content ranks highest in all online searches for spiritual content. The General Conference should support divisions requiring assistance in developing channels that nurture relationships between members, visitors, and the Adventist faith. All contacts should be connected to churches in their localities. We also understand the critical importance of ensuring that digital evangelistic content and online spiritual care are accessible to individuals with disabilities. We encourage our entities to assess the resources from the World Wide Web Consortium Web Accessibility Initiative, including guidelines for making audio and video media accessible. We believe it is our responsibility to provide resources for every seeker. Therefore, considering what the Bible presents about the church and mission, the following concluding statements should function as guidelines for the digital expansion of mission in our local churches. Number one, whereas Adventists have always embraced new technologies to share the gospel, local churches should be encouraged to engage in digital ministry, from establishing a digital platform to providing spiritual care. Digital care. Two, whereas our God-given mandate is to make disciples, not merely consumers or spectators, churches should encourage people to become active members of a local church in their own area. 3, whereas fellowship and service can happen online, some of the most sacred practices of our faith, such as baptism and communion, require physical presence and should not be attempted online. Furthermore, a church must have a physical gathering to qualify as a Seventh-day Adventist church. 4, whereas people naturally desire in-person fellowship and connection as their relationship with the church matures, exclusively online churches with no plan to connect with the physical body of Christ should not be allowed, as they would fail to reflect biblical ecclesiology. 5, whereas individuals may be unable to join a local church nearby, churches that reach phase 3 of digital expansion by demonstrating the capacity of robust digital care may accept these individuals into membership. 6, whereas millions search for spiritual content online daily, the General Conference should collaborate with divisions to establish the official website and social media accounts that represent the Adventist Church globally. This should be done in an accessible way in all languages and with the express purpose of connecting these individuals to a local church. 7, whereas digital evangelism and spiritual care are increasingly important, seminaries should teach these skills to future pastors, and conference missions should continually train pastors and elders in digital literacy and online ministry. Finally, 8, while we must embrace digital platforms to extend our reach, we should continue to prioritize nurturing personal relationships and community bonds through physical gatherings. This dual approach will ensure a holistic spiritual experience for all members and enhance our ability to proclaim the three angels' messages to the world.
Brother Chair, I move these guidelines as presented.
All right, it's been moved and seconded.
All right, so that was it, friends. And I think expanding our online presence as a church is a good thing. Yeah. Today, many people are online, and the gospel mission is to reach out to the people. So you reach out to them where they are, both in person and online. So I agree and support the digital expansion initiative of the church. That is a good thing, friends. You know, I am an Adventist content creator. You always see me online, right here on YouTube and on Facebook. And so I understand the power of social media. But friends, I want to add something to what I have just said. I think the church should get the members, some of the members that are involved in this online thing, online ministry, like those that have experience or those that know how online media works, so that they can help in their expansion program. So that is what I think about the online ministry, online presence, and everything that they said there. It's a good thing. I support it. It's a good thing. All right, so let me take this opportunity to say happy Sabbath to everyone that is watching me. I really appreciate you for supporting this channel, for always watching our content to be updated on what is taking place in the church and outside of the church.